What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Cartoon Season. I'm Tyler, as always, and this is all about animation. We got cartoons, anime, a bunch of stuff. Today, going back fairly recently, actually. I think last year, Primal debuted, right? A very, I would say, anticipated show from our man. I don't know how to say his name, but he's the dude who worked on Samurai Jack, probably most notably. I think it's, I'm going to try to say it. His last name is like Tortovsky, something like that. I don't know. It's one of those names. Not going to try anymore. But yeah, Samurai Jack, I think he did some work on like Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls and something more recently. What was his more recent? Well, not more recent. I guess he did that one Star Wars thing as well. The one Star Wars show. Anyway, Primal, absolutely fantastic cartoon. Aired on, I think it was Adult Swim, and yeah, I think what makes this show very special. I don't really think I mentioned it too much, but it is like there's barely any dialogue in this whole show. And he's still able to tell, like, this great story, this great relationship between these two characters, which gonna be the main thing I talk about today is the Spear and Fang relationship and how they're able to build that with, again, no dialogue, and also with one being a dinosaur, one being a humanoid, and how they really take care of each other. And then I want to also talk about some predictions for a future season. 'Cause I'm pretty sure it's already announced that they're doing another season of this. It would be a crime if they didn't. But yeah, before I really get into it, as I always say, go and check out the Tiger T YouTube channel. That's where you can get more episodes of this, as well as pretty much anywhere you can get audio podcasts. Try to be in as many places as possible. So, like I said, really the main and only topic, aside from predictions, is I just kind of want to go through and talk about the Spear and Fang relationship, because it really is something special, I'll probably mention it more than I already, but the whole no dialogue thing is really impressive to me, which, I mean, it also makes sense, it's not just like a silent film just to be a silent film, like, Spear over here doesn't really have verbal language, and then Fang is a dinosaur, so, probably a pretty hard barrier there to get past, but even like where they live, like, or not where they live, but the whole time frame thing, makes sense, right? But the way they're still able to build the relationship between these two and have it feel like they're a family is, again, just very impressive to me. Things that other shows don't do as well with dialogue and, the way to like present information that way. So, so let's start really towards the beginning. After Spear's family is eaten in the beginning, obviously, by some bigger dinosaurs, right? Or were they bigger? Well, there was more. I know that for a fact. There was more. Trying to save them. Fang had, I think, 2 or 3 kids, and after they were eaten by the other dinosaurs, Spear. I'm getting all mixed up. It's very weird whenever I say Spear and Fang because their names are never mentioned in the show. So even though I know that obviously Caveman is Spear, Dinosaur is Fang, it still throws me off. So Spear's family is eaten, and we learned that earlier on. Like this show takes place after that has already happened, which is why he is the way he is. I don't even think I mentioned this, but like in the beginning, it's pretty heavily insinuated that Spear is about to kill himself from like depression of like his entire family being murdered and eaten. But anyway, after that does happen, he tries to save Fang's family from the same fate because he hears like the commotion, everything goes over there, sees that these other dinosaurs are going to try and eat and kill Fang's kids, because that's what animals do. They go after the weak, And even that right there, we can just have a hard stop there. That right there is pretty incredible, because like why would he care? Like why would Spear care? Like again, we know why from a writing perspective. He just lost his family, so as a father, as another parent, he might just have that like instinctual urge to save this other animal's kids, even though from a biological, like evolutionary standpoint, like why would he put himself in harm's way? Like I have no relationship to this other random animal and random creature. What does it matter? But he does, he does help save him. There's only so much you can do though, because they do fight. But Fang's kids are eaten, which is sad. It kind of the harsh reality of nature, where it's like you can fight all you want, but sometimes numbers do matter. Power does matter, and they were both outnumbered and manned, right? But Spear and Fang do decide to travel together. This like bond that isn't very strong, but it is kind of wavering between them. Fang probably feeling very sad in the moment and doesn't really have anyone else to turn to, and so he sees this other creature that tried to help him just now for some reason. So he's like, I'm gonna stick with you for right now, and then I think I keep mixing up their names. I apologize, everyone. I think I keep mixing up their names. That was what Fang was thinking. Spear is another other side of that, and he's probably similar, right? Where he's like, I just helped this creature, and it hasn't tried to eat me and kill me, which it very well could try. So that's good. And then also on the flip side, this dinosaur just went through the same thing I went through, so like maybe sort of like a misery loves company, sort of thing. But I think it just comes down to they don't really have anyone else. They're not trying to kill each other. Two's better than one, when it comes to hunting and survival, even just like again, they do. I actually don't know. I actually don't think they get into this far, but like you watch other movies and shows where like if the group, it's nighttime and the group is sleeping, they'll have at least one person stay up and they'll sleep in shifts, to make sure no like creatures, eat them in the night or something. So, something like that. It could just be survival. But then we do kind of see the relationship grow to an almost like they're almost family, because then they start to get annoyed by each other. It gets to the point where every time they hunt, Fang takes all the food and Spear gets very angry. Because again, like Fang is bigger and he's more powerful and he's probably faster, and so like every time they hunt, it's great, and Spear puts in a lot of work, but Fang always comes in and like hurries up and eats the animal or whatever before Spear can even get there, can even like claim his kill, right? And I just really like that because it shows growing pains, like this show didn't have to do that. It could just be like we had the bonding moment in the beginning where we really understand each other, and now we're just perfect friends, we're partners, we're brothers, we're well, I guess Fang is a female, we're siblings, we're whatever, but they didn't, they showed it where they do still have things to work out, and they still have very different ways of living their life, and they don't quite trust each other yet, they're not quite on that level. So of course Fang is going to be like, well, I need food, and so if I see food, I see an opportunity to eat food, I'm gonna eat it, and not really taking into account that Spear is your partner and he needs to eat too. Because if he dies, then what's the point of you even traveling with him all this time? So I do like that. Again, the growing pains aspect of it. And we go a little bit later to when they have to fight all the snakes. That was a crazy episode. Very cool visually, and fighting a lot of snakes, very scary. Not something not a pit you want to fall into, as a pit of snakes. But that is really the moment in which they start hunting as a team, which is kind of, to close out this growing pains issue, where they realize that that's what they have to do. because, I feel like Fang was being a little more selfish than Spear was, but, even Spear had his moments as well. And so after this, after them fighting that whole thing and realizing that they can trust each other and they can, cover for each other's weaknesses because they both have some, they realize that this is, this should be a at the very least somewhat of a symbiotic relationship, which is really nice. They get over that. Now we move on to the next issue, as shows do. A little bit later, we have Fang really sacrificing herself, to save Spear. Spear gets like taken away by some like bats and stuff, and Fang tries to go up the mountain where the nest is, but he can't, or she can't reach it. It's just too like steep, and they're not grip, and really only 2 legs. They got the little arms, doesn't really help too much with traction. So she decides to play dead, so the bats will carry her. They will carry her up the mountain. Because they're like, oh man, food! Look at all this food, this huge dinosaur that we can eat. Very, very clever by Fang. It's something that, Fang, and even with Spear, I mean, you can watch this and be like, how smart are they? Like, how clever are they really? Is it all just instinctual? But that right there, that wasn't instincts. That was, she was actually thinking things ahead and being like, okay, how do I work smarter, not harder? And she did it. So that moment right there, I just thought was really cool, because she could just been like, well, yeah, we lost, I guess. And she could have also just tried to keep banging her head against the wall, and just trying to run up the mountain with her 2 feet, and just not getting anywhere. But again, that wouldn't get anywhere. So it's really cool that they showed that more like intellectual moment, from one of these characters. A little bit later on, move on to another example where the ape men hold a tournament to the death. Very, very cool episode. Probably, maybe my favorite episode. It was really cool. 8 men hold a tournament to the death. Then the winner almost beats Fang to death. That was very rough to watch, because Fang, she really couldn't do anything. Especially with that one ape man with the weird like juice. I don't know what it was. Weird steroid juice. The Hulk juice, which has made it like a fighting machine, so very, very tough to watch. And you can even see the emotion run through Spear's face, having to watch from the sidelines, like seeing that this was happening, discovering it, and being like, what am I going to do? And again, we kind of go back to the other end, where now Spear is, taking some risks, and he decides to drink the serum. I called it a serum here, I guess. Spear decides to drink the serum, and he's able to destroy all the ape men, which is really cool. Really, really neat fight scene. But even again, in context of their relationship, like Spear just being like, I'm gonna do it. Like he has no idea what the serum will do to his body, because he's not an ape man. He's very, I guess, ape-ish in stature, I guess, but like, he's not the same thing. He has no idea if that will just destroy his body, if that will just like make him explode. He has no idea if it'll just kill him. They have different chemical makeups, and we're not even sure if like all ape men can really do it. Maybe some of them also die from it, and the one that we see is truly a champion. So he's taking risks there. Again, not really instinctual, more like, again, more of a family type risk, where he's just like, I have to save Fang. Like, that's what I have to do. And again, it does work out in his favor. Spear for a hot minute, thought that Fang was dead, but she's just very injured. And so we even see a very tedious scene here where he's trying to help her. He like builds a sled, kind of, and takes a lot of strength, a lot of working to be able to push her onto it and like slide, so even all that, like, we are taking the extra time to not just brute force things and actually help each other out, actually do it the right way so that she doesn't get even more injured or possibly die. And again, Spear is now carrying Fang, tries to nurse her back to health. It does eventually work, but even in that moment, again, like, we are family. We are not just partners. We're not just, I need her to be alive because she has my back. If she's not here, then I'll probably die out here. Like, it's more than that, which I really like. Then the little bit last thing here I got is wild dogs force them into a cave, which is somewhat good because now we have more of like a shelter. But now they're surrounded, and these wild dogs are relentless. They may not be particularly after Spear, but they know that a very injured Fang is in there, and they know that's dinner. That's probably dinner for a few days, maybe. And we have a really nice scene where Spear eventually gets to the point where he has to start directly fighting them off. It's not looking too good, and then Fang eventually gets just healthy enough to burst out of the cave and help Spear fight them all off. So again, in the context of the relationship, like, Spear being able to actually nurse her back to health somewhat is amazing, and then also Fang being able to be like, I'm not 100% right now. I'm probably like 50%, 60%, something like that. But I'm gonna go out there and save Spear, because Spear doesn't sound like he's doing too well. Also, very much outnumbered. So I'm gonna go out there, help him out. We're gonna do this together. And yeah, that's pretty much the last thing I had the relationship. But those are kind of all the big points that I see anyway, in terms of the show developing their fondness of each other, and them really turning from strangers to partners to family, in just action. Like this show is more than most show don't tell, right? Where it's like, we see them go through little spats, but we also see them really cared by each other in moments where they could have abandoned the other one for their own survival. They didn't. And I just think it's really cool, and I'm really interested to see how that plays out in the rest of the show. Because again, I'm 99% sure they've already announced we're getting a second season of this. Hopefully next year. Hopefully it doesn't take more than next year to do it. But obviously take as much time as you need to make a good product. That's always my thing. Don't rush the process, because then you get a less than good product, and then we look at it like, oh, maybe season 1 was just lightning in a bottle. Again, I'm very interested to see like if they have any more rough patches in the future, or if we've already smoothed them all out. I could see with getting to new areas, meeting new people, that could possibly get in between them. We'll see. We'll see. But that does move on to the last kind of batch of stuff I wanted to talk about, which is predictions. Like I said, season 2 is confirmed. We know it's coming at some point, and the way it ends, it really sets up something very interesting. So let's just run through it. I got a few notes here. They see some ape men killed by arrows, which is interesting because Spear doesn't use arrows. We also don't know of any other, I'm just gonna say cavemen, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but we don't see any other cavemen on the island this whole time. We see some like ape men. We see some like witches, but we don't see anyone like Spear, assuming I'm just say human, I guess, right? So the fact that they got killed by arrows, there's some other humans here. Where are they at? And then we go a little bit further, and Mira, who is the lady that they met, the only really like human they've met at this point, also pictured here on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. At the end, the very, very end, we see Mira now on a boat, which is hard stop there. There's a boat. So there's some sort of gathering of people. I don't want to quite say civilization, because we might not be there yet in the timeline, but there is some sort of town or city or something that exists. It's not just all wilderness. And it has the same scorpion image that's on Mira's head. Mira has a tattoo of a scorpion on her head. And then on the boat that she's on, when we see her going away, on the boat, the mast, right? Or is it on the flag? I don't know. It's probably on the mast. mass is bigger. Same scorpion image, so it's like, ooh, okay, double confirmation that there has to be, again, some sort of tribe, maybe. Tribe might be too small of a word, but there's something somewhere. And then it's like more questions, right? Like, where is it? It's a boat. Does that mean there's other islands, other just pieces of land? There's gotta be, right? What is that in relation to the piece of land that they're on right now, that you're assuming Spear has spent his whole life on? Where's technology at this point? Because Spear probably never seen a boat like that in his life. At the most, maybe he's made some sort of raft thing, but even that, I don't think. What does that say about Mira? Where it's like Mira, because we know Mira can speak. We've seen her have some sort of actual verbal language where Spear doesn't. At least not in the same way. So what does that mean about Mira? What was her purpose here? Why was she here? Is she hiding something other than the fact that she's part of a larger group? And then what else did I write? I imagine they're going to try and follow the boat. Yeah, that's pretty simple. Especially after meeting Mira, and now she's going there. Spear's probably gonna wanna figure out, like, there's more people. Like, this is the first person I've met, you're assuming, since he's had his own family. So that's curiosity killed the cat, right? We'll see how that actually mirrors what's gonna happen in the show. I also wonder if we're going to get more dialogue if we are introduced to more people. I imagine next season we're going to see the people. I'm not saying we're going to actually find like another town, but I imagine we are going to see more people. I think it'd be weird for it to tease it at the end of this season and then not see it all next season. That's very weird to me. Although again, I trust him. Tortovsky. That's just how I'm going to say his name. I apologize. He's made a good enough products. I've seen some of Samurai Jack, very good show. Again, I'm pretty sure he worked on like Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls, at least a little bit. Very fond of those shows as well, so I trust him. And then the whole more dialogue thing, like, wonder if Spear's gonna learn any, try and like acquire some sort of verbal language, and like how far it goes with his interaction with more people. Then I wrote a couple questions here. Is there some form of civilization? I feel like there has to be. I feel like just mirroring our own like real life and like where we're at when boats existed. A boat like that anyway. Like by that point we had some sort of civilization. Some sort of we had the technology. Like like even a bow and arrow seems primitive, but based on what Spear's been using this whole time, where he's been using a spear, bow and arrow, a little bit higher up on that chain. So we'll see what else they got. And then will we start seeing more tools? Yeah, just kind of going with the flow of that. I imagine we'll see more tools with the more advanced people, but I also think that Spear himself will start to maybe experiment just a little bit. Move away from just the spear, even though that is his namesake. And we might see some evolution in real time here, possibly with a bow and arrow of his own, him being very curious by that, and looking at the bow and arrow and be like, okay, this is way too small and flimsy to be a spear. What is this? Why were they using it? We see Mira. Actually, I don't know. I could be a little overstating there, because I don't actually know if Mira showed the bow in action to him, but maybe. And then even so, like, again, curiosity doesn't go away if he's already seen it. Like, he's probably like, okay, I want to know how to do that. I can kill like food and stuff from a distance. Interesting. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have there. Again, not too much to go on. It is a huge cliffhanger at the end there, but other than that, not really much to go off of, because most of the show is just kind of Spear and Fang, like a buddy cop, just kind of traveling through the woods, surviving. So, but yeah, very, very good show. Like I said, the use of, or the lack of dialogue, very good. The action is awesome, and I am interested to see where it goes into the next season. Let me know what you thought of the show. Very short. I'm wondering if the next season will be a little longer. I'm not asking for 40 episodes, but Wonder if we'll get an up just a little bit to maybe like 10 episodes, dozen episodes, something like that. Of course, all depending on what kind of story they're trying to tell. But yeah, like I said, let me know what you thought of the show, what you think you're gonna see, as well as what you want to see in a second season. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, so until next time, what do I got? I don't got nothing, guys. Until next time, if you see someone in need, help them out. Good energy flows back and forth.